Welcome to The Beam, where curiosity stirs conversations, taking us a step further into the future we desire. Here we bring you the issues that matter, the voices that challenge, and the insights that inspire. I'm Sunas Nathaniel, and now before we get into today's very insightful conversation, let's turn our attention to pressing issues making the waves in our nation, a story we believe you need to see, and then stick with us, because when we come back, this interaction is going to be one that you do not want to miss. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is GTEX Nigeria 2025, a landmark technology summit held in Abuja. It was organized by Kaun International with National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, supported by the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, and backed by MTN Nigeria as the official sponsor. The summit brings together top government officials, diplomats, investors, including executives of MTN Nigeria, tech executives, and private sector leaders. Development partners also joined to reinforce global collaboration.
For investors that we meet everywhere we go.
The summit's goal include driving digital infrastructure, mainstreaming artificial intelligence, and advancing public sector innovation to position Nigeria as a leader in the digital economy.
Underpinned by the overarching national AI strategy that was only launched last year, with a 5-year roadmap to look at, again, very clearly positioning Nigeria to be in its global leadership position, but importantly, looking at governance, looking at Nigeria being a responsible innovation leader in the world.
We need to build capabilities in 3 or 4 areas, cutting across policies, computing and infrastructure, and human capital.
The minister reiterated that AI is key for African economies to create jobs and grow wealth.
AI will widen the gap between nations around productivities. Countries that are already ahead will move even faster, and those that are still catching up will find it even more difficult to catch up.
The management of MTN Nigeria reaffirmed the company's commitment to building a robust digital ecosystem for Africa.
Artificial intelligence can have a massive impact in our society, and we see it's a part of our key responsibility to provide the computing infrastructure through this data center, which we've just completed the first phase of. But the connectivity remains as important as ever. And having fiber deployed to all the businesses and at the homes where you have these developers is absolutely critical to the success of artificial intelligence in Nigeria.
Online today, we host about 12 petabytes of data. Granted, we're moving from a telco-centric environment, and we're moving into a technology space. AI is all about data, and it's how you're able to utilize this data, of which we're in that right space to do.
With Nigeria's population set to hit 400 million by 2050, speakers at the summit stressed that jobs and competitiveness depend on adopting artificial intelligence now, warning that Africa cannot afford to be left behind. From the venue of the Government Leadership and AI Summit, Benny Ark, reporting for Channels Television News.
Welcome back. Security and polity is not just a matter of bullets and bombs. It's a foundation for nationhood, and without development, it collapses. I have with me one who's going to be speaking on some of the things that we're seeing right now in the polity. He's none other than Dr. Adejare Rewane Adegbenro, a diplomat and security expert. You're very welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yes, let's go straight into it. One of the things we like to do is to make sure we break down polity when it comes to the young people. And so one of those questions for me would be for us to start, and let's take it right into the heart of the matter. We're talking polity. In what we have seen in the last 2 years especially, let's go from security, let's go from national economy. Where do you see this government present as we speak? Let's start from there.
Well, if we're looking at the present government, which are President Bola Asiwaju Tinubu, you tend to look at it that he's trying to fulfill his mandate and what he promised Nigerians, which is employment, economy, and is a key focus for him. And what we're seeing today now, the hardship that everybody is facing today, including myself, is nobody wants to see a finished product, how it was finished. They want a quick fix. Nigeria is not a quick fix country. In anywhere in the world, there's no quick fix. You know, if you tend to look at the youth, yes, the youth has a lot to play. But how do they have to play? Let us take it that if you look at all the military, in terms of Air Force, Army, Navy, paramilitary, you have police, you have civil defense, you have civil defense, you have immigration, you have correctional center. In the past few months and since last year, they've been employing youths, which shows you the direction that the government wants to. And all of these agencies, whether you like it or not, are taking youths on to be trained and put them back into the system. But there's a process. Nigeria, the new present regime, I don't like to dwell on the past, inherited a decayed economy, decayed employment. Everything about it was decayed, as far as I'm concerned, to be frank. But this regime, the president has been bold to take steps that nobody will take. The only president that I'll put into recognition to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, my president, is Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. One, taking a bold step of removing subsidy is one of the hardest things. He took it away, and yes, all the backlash and everything. We know, I'm in my 50s, we know that I can see the end of the tunnel. I feel for Nigeria. But Nigeria should always put their hands together to support the government of the day. This isn't a north or a south or an east thing. It's a togetherness thing. It's not a pull-down syndrome. It's to see how can we all help each other. If the government fails, does it mean the so-called elites cannot help the masses? Everything is so dependent on the federal government in Nigeria. We have to learn how to feed ourselves. Agriculture is there. Create jobs for people. Everybody wants a contract. It's not about a contract that's not business. Set up viable business. And this man is laying a foundation down, our president, for all this. Instead of us talking bad about the regime, why don't we go forward, firstly, to our maker and keep praying for the regime? And the regime is headed by who? The president. Whether you like it or not, the president, I know him, and I will tell you for free, is a man that is very humble.
Okay, let me just bring in something. So I have a very young audience that loves this program too.
Yes.
So the question then becomes, for instance, you're from the Rewani family, and there are a couple of them who might never have researched and might never have understood what Rewani stood for. Now the question then becomes, if they look and search at the history of what Rewani stood for in terms of the politics, in terms of nation building, in terms of business, where do they draw the line with what they are seeing today? And would a Pariwane, for instance, be very appreciative of what is happening today, in the country, government-wise?
Government-wise. Okay, let me take you back. My grandfather died by Abacha killing him. It's a bitter story. Why? Because he was found in Nadeko. This is for the younger audience. They need to learn about history. They do not appreciate. If it isn't for him financing Nadeko today, would we have democracy that we're enjoying today? No. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was like his first son. They were all fighting Abacha. Do you know what it was to fight Abacha? The younger generation will not know. Yes, my grandfather was a philanthropist. He employed a lot of people. But if we're going to look at today, Bola Tinubu is his son. And that is why anytime the president is talking, he always makes references to Rewane and the other NADECO members. And as far as I'm concerned, my grandfather would have said, why is Nigeria facing this? Not to criticize it. What is the way forward? And the way forward is what we are seeing today. But nobody wants to see the way forward. They want to see now. We should stop this stomach infrastructure. We should learn how to now see, fight for yourself, not by doing something that is wrong. Why would you, our youths today, they are lazy, I'm sorry to say, because they believe that everything is handed to them. When I grew up, it was a mileage thing. You do good in school, you get this. You get a good job, you get this. Not that you should take laws into your hands. People leave Nigeria, they can be unruly. The moment they leave Nigeria, what happens?
They begin to act right.
They begin to act right. So in our DNA, in our blood, we have to pray for God for forgiveness and to see how these youths, we can help them.
All right, let's come back to some of the things that are happening, basically, because one of the things we're doing is to look at what's going on in the social sphere, you know. So there are tweets and there are comments from people like Loretta Onochie when he says something about, you know, the government being run like a WhatsApp group, basically. One of those things, or one of the problems that comes in Nigerian polity usually is the nepotism. Mm-hmm. It's just me and my brother, it's just me and my people, it's just me, right? And so the question then becomes, what do you say in response to comments like this?
First and foremost, I wouldn't comment to somebody that will say such a thing about your president. Your president, if she knows well, if she knows the president well, she wouldn't have said such a comment by saying you're running the country like a WhatsApp group. That is such a stupid comment, as far as I'm concerned. And we know such people. When such people come out because they've lost out of favor that they were in the past regime, they are not in this present regime, they now go to the media to make up whatever they think they can do so that they think the president will call them, so that the president will call them and infiltrate them into the present regime. That is being selfish. You need to be objective. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not APC. APC is a group, political group. And if you belong to that political group, as she says, she will not make such a comment because it's still an APC government. And there are other means, if truly you mean well, there are other means you can reach the president and talk to him instead of putting things on social media that makes the party look stupid, makes herself look stupid, and trying to insult the president. Such things I wouldn't make comments on, but it's hard time, and we need press, media, to censor certain things that is said, because these are distraction.
But how do you censor something that's been on a tweet or maybe on Facebook or something in that fashion? How do you censor such a thing? Because, I mean, we are going to beam and bring out the things that we are, you know, particularly, you know, pushing forward and, you know, investigating on our own end. But how do you censor?
Okay, so if somebody calls you a thief in the newspaper or on the online or in any of the media print and you're not a thief, you sit down?
Well, you go back to the media too, and then
you go back to the media. But isn't that a distraction for a man that is carrying such a big burden on his head? Do you know what it is to be president of Nigeria? Nobody has an idea. I would never wish to be the president of Nigeria. It's the most hardest thing in the world today. Not even Trump of USA. Nigeria is so diverse that you cannot just believe everything that is in the media. Everybody just wants a bite of it. All I know is that the president, if you know him, go and see what he has done as governor and after governor. People that he has made, capacity, he has it. He grooms people and is not tribalistic. Jagaban title is from where? Up north. That's what most people do not even realize. Even the youth don't know what Jagaban is. Jagaban is from Bogu. Many people do not know that title. is not a Yoruba title. So this is a man that affiliates himself with every single body in Nigeria. But because of his way and his style of not responding to a lot of things, my father is like that. My grandfather is like that. It's not everything you respond to as a president.
All right, let's now beyond the president, we have on social media, because that's where this really borders. We have on social media and many other platforms people who sometimes it seems like they are devaluing the nation. How do we attack such a thing, especially when it comes to the young people? I mean, take for instance Kemi Badenoch and some of the things that have been said. I mean, including the thing of affiliating more with the Yoruba than the Nigerian nation. How do we push this together to ensure that the nation itself is not devalued, is not demarketed, is not projected in a light that lifts us out of the community of nations?
Kemi Badenoch. First and foremost, I don't think she's a Nigerian.
But she could argue that
I don't believe she's a Nigerian, in the sense that if you are a Nigerian, you will not look down on your country to get cheap votes in your second country. Yes, our constitution allows dual nationality. But you should always remember, when you open your passport and you look at the back page, it is property of what? Federal government of Nigeria. You cannot say things that is bad about your country in another country. What she should have been doing is fighting for the country to whatever capacity that she has. She's in the parliament. Yes, you're British. So you're using Nigeria to put your own country, your mother home that is your own birth country, to say they are this, they are that.
All right, I want you to hold that thought because we'll take a break now. You're watching The Beam, a place where the old is reckoned with and the future is redefined. We'll be right back from that section because it's very important that we understand where the real polity is, where we stand in the community of nations. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm in conversation with Dr. Rewane. Dr. Rewane, that's where I get at Digby in Row.
Yes.
Yes. And before we went for the break, we were discussing the markets in the nation, basically on social media and all this platform, and using Kemi Badenoch just as a reference point. Yes. So you were saying something about how she's playing up, where she is right now, and playing down where she came from, basically. So go ahead.
Yeah, because if you're patriotic, you would not be saying such a statement. And if she's that educated and want to be patriotic, such statement would not be released by such a person who is in the parliament. And you say you want to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? It didn't happen. She doesn't know the Brits. I'll tell you that for free. Because they have their own style. We as Nigerians, we have our own style. We should always be patriotic. I have this saying that is my slogan. I'm a Nigerian and my tribe comes second. Maybe Kemi should go and look at that and read her history book well of how Nigeria was made up. Then she will understand. I believe I'm older than her, but guess what? When I was growing up, there was nothing like Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. We were all one. Why is it now that there's divide and rule and you go out of your country to put your country down because of cheap votes and sentiment, because of your personal ambition? Personally, if I meet her, I will give her a good piece of advice that better stick to being British and forget everything Nigerian, because there's nothing Nigerian about her. Her saying that, oh, they didn't give her a Nigerian passport. Does she deserve a Nigerian passport? No, she doesn't. And these are part of the thing because of the social media they go on to, that the youths are looking at and seeing this. Why are you portraying? Even if our country was bad, is he a Nigerian to tell us that we are bad? So you have the Arabs there.
As a diplomat,
yes.
As a diplomat, what would you be expecting that the Brits will be doing now, in the sense that, I mean, this is somebody who is high up there a little bit in their society, and then she's speaking down about a different nation. In that sense, what would you think that they should be doing?
Of course, there's a bad effect on Nigeria, obviously. Our image is being battered by a Nigerian. So obviously that is what you're getting. And yet the president is trying all his best to launder our image. So with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So with the First Lady. A lot of them, they are going outside. I met with the Minister of Women's Affairs. They are going around the world. They are all trying to launder Nigerian image. And that is what is paramount for you to be patriotic, not for you to kill your country. Why would you kill your country? Can you see a British man go to you and say that my country is this and my country is that? Never. Can you see an American talk to another nation and say that my country is this? No. You have more killings in America. You have more killings in the UK. But do you see it? But it's only Nigeria that we always open ourselves to such. Anything that happens bad in the UAE, do you see it on television? No, you don't. It's about time that we need to censor a lot of things because we have to solve our problem ourselves. We do not need. Yes, after God comes human being. So let us solve this problem ourselves, then we know what to do. This man was voted for. If you do not like it, wait till 2027. Stop talking from your bedroom. Come out and vote, or come out for an election to be elected. Don't sit in the back room and go into social media and be talking about what you do not know. It is terrible. And the social media is such a powerful tool.
You see, you said one thing and it's very pertinent. You said Nigeria first before tribe.
Yes.
How realistic is it? And how much of this notion that we have not taken into cognizance is the problem that we face in the nation today?
Yeah, well, the problem that we are facing with the nation today are the bad eggs of politicians. Using religion, using tribes to divide all of us. But for me, my closest friends are not even Yorubas. I have more friends up north, up south, up southeast before Yoruba. Isn't that funny? I'm half Yoruba. My grandfather was the premier of the Western region, D.S. Adimero. Then I'm Delta Shekiri, which is, he was Alfred Owane, who funded Nadeco financially, single-handedly, while then Bola Ahmed, Asiwaju, Tinubu, were doing what? Fighting the battle. We were young, so we don't expect the younger generation to know anything about this history because they've killed history in Nigeria. Because if people go by the history of what happened then to now, we'll be in a better place and people will be more enlightened. I'm sitting down, why should I look at somebody and say, because you are from this part of the world, this part of the country, I will not talk to you or I'll not do business with you. It doesn't work that way.
You keep pushing me to ask certain questions. Now, you've come to a very important part when it comes to history.
Yeah.
If we were to really talk history, the question then becomes, whose history are we going to be speaking about? How do we come to a unified history on what really the events were in this nation? Because that's where the problem is.
History is very simple. Is not where the problem is. The history of Nigeria, if you read it, it is very easy for you to understand how the North-Western region were all created. The Civil War, what happened? Our youths are educated. We need to educate them. We need national reorientation. Fast. You get what I'm saying? Look, for instance, you look at the government. Today, the rising up in cybercrime, so-called Yahoo boys. You must be intelligent for you to defraud a person. Why don't we bring them back, put them into national reorientation, you get me, and put them into position. They will make money and they will use their intellect because God has given us that smartness. Nigerians were very smart from all parts of Nigeria.
All right. There's so much to say, but in 1 minute before you go, where do you see the hope of ADC, the ADC coalition when it comes? I mean, many young people are very enthusiastic. They're asking questions, and so that's why we're asking these questions. The ADC, the coalition, what is the future of it? What really can it achieve? Where does it go from here? Basically, in just 2 minutes.
In running for president, anybody can run. Any party can run. It's very good for politics and democracy. That's what democracy is about. There must be a race, and whoever wins the race carries the presidency. But one key note I will tell you is that the youth should look at the candidates, where they were coming from and where they were at. That will answer you. It's all selfish belief. All of them came from one umbrella and now jumped into another umbrella because they're out of favor and they're now trying to say ADC is this. There's nothing different with ADC, PDP, and APC.
All right, I think that's a very big place to close it. Dr. Adegbenro, thank you very much. Dr. Rewani, I like to put Rewani Adegbenro. I like the joining of that.
No problem.
It was a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you ever so much.
All right, that's where we call it a wrap on the beam today. As always, we're going to be leaving you with our top 5 videos of the week. I am Sunes Nathaniel, and until next time, keep beaming your light where it matters the most. May this nation continue to rise and flourish. Bye for now.
This week, we begin our countdown with an aide of Governor Ubasani asserting that former Governor Nasir El-Rufai used Kaduna taxpayers' money to pay bandits.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, with air of arrogance, said to the sitting that he had to pay herdsmen so that they will not longer commit mayhem or kill lives and all that they have been doing. What was the result? It aggravated more than 100%.
Coming fourth on our list, we hear Senator Aminu Tambuwal stress that he's committed to sending President Bola Tinubu out of office.
I am involved in a national coalition that there should be a change of guards in Asorok through a constitutional democratic process, May 29, 2027.
In third place, we see politicians Dati Baba Ahmed and Farouk Aliyu reacting to some political allegations made by Nasir El-Rufai.
My grudge with Nasir's statements is that he was part and parcel of APC from 2013. Like he told you, he was one of the architects of it all. All of a sudden, to come and absolve himself and call others. No.
And let me use this opportunity to beg my brother, my friend, Nuhu Ribadu. He should not join issues. I am begging Nuhu Ribadu.
Coming second on our list, actor turned politician Kenneth Okonkwo states that the only opposition party in Nigeria is the ADC, adding that PDP and Labour Party only exist on paper.
There is no more any party like PDP or LP. They are just existing in papers. Because whoever is in PDP is either supporting APC or ADC. That's what it is.
In first place this week, Dati Baba Ahmed accuses the APC of complicity in Nigeria's insecurity.
If the position of Nigeria, the so-called APC government of Uncle Tinubu, if their official position is to be compensating bandits, paying bandits, then we don't have a nation.
And that's it on our countdown today. Join us next week for more.